Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Jam Bets NFL Week 17. We're here Sunday morning. We've got a fairly large slate of games considering all the games that have been going on this holiday week. Really like the layout that NFL put together for Fantasy Championship Week as well. We've got games almost every day. We'll be kicking off the slate today. We've got 6 games in the early afternoon, and then I think 3 games in the mid afternoon, and then we've got a great game tonight on Sunday Night Football. So I am Tyke, joined as always by the fantastic Momma Mia, fighting back from the sickness that we are actually both having right now. So we'll go ahead, we'll dive into it. We'll give a recap of the players we picked on yesterday's 3 games. Then we'll go ahead and talk about players that we're picking to overperform or underperform in today's games, as well as a get your popcorn ready for a just awesome matchup that's happening today. So, Mamma Mia, would you like to kick us off with your recap from yesterday?
Yeah, thanks for filling in by yourself yesterday, Tyke. I really couldn't make it. Good to be back. I had picked Hunter Henry to be my overperformer. He was projected to have 10.5 points. I picked him because he's Drake May's go to guy, and I figured they'd be throwing it a lot. So he had 2 targets, no catches. He didn't overperform at all. It was a rough game for our friends in New England, and I didn't make that call. But on my underperformer, I had Kyler Murray, and he was projected to have 21.4 fantasy points. He ended up with 18. He had a pretty good day. He had 33 out of 48 completions for 321 yards. He only had 1 touchdown, but 2 interceptions, and he rushed 4 times for 32 yards. They seem to have the Rams were coming after him really hard, so they contained him pretty good. And that's about all I was able to contribute yesterday. So, how about you, Tyke? How did you do yesterday?
I did okay. I did about 50-50%. I gave out 4 players that I thought were going to overperform. 2 of them overperformed. The other 2 not so good. First player I gave was J.K. Dobbins. Dobbins had a spectacular day coming back from injury. 19 carries, 76 yards, and a touchdown. Harbaugh really trusts him, as well as Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator over there that came from Baltimore. Next player I gave was Esteen on Denver. He did not do well. He just could not get it going on the ground. He was just like a bug to light, just running straight into the backs of his offensive line all game. He had 9 carries. I thought if he would have got 9 carries, he would have beaten his line. He did not. He got 9 carries. He ended with 24 yards. He needed 25 per Vegas. Vegas had him listed out at 25. So he underperformed there. I know it looks like underperformed by 1 yard, but with having 9 carries and getting 24 yards, that's a pretty big underperformance in my book. Next player I gave was James Conner. I thought James Conner was dealing with injury. I thought he was going to be out on the field a little bit more. He ended up getting hurt in the first quarter. He only got 4 total yards in the game. So can't really underperform any more than that, but not much we can do about injuries. And then the last player I gave out was Trey McBride. Trey McBride finally scored his touchdown, his first one of the year. Trey McBride ended with 12 receptions, 123 yards, and a touchdown. He had a spectacular day. Hopefully enough of a spectacular day to make up for the colossal failure that Connor had. So we've got a couple games, couple things we're going to get into today. We've got a pretty good slate. These early afternoon games show really poor weather, really poor weather. There's only 2 games where it is not supposed to be raining heavily, and that is the Dallas Philadelphia game and Indianapolis and Giants. The other games are very heavy. In fact, Jaguars game may even be delayed due to the amount of thunderstorms that are coming through there. So just something to keep an eye out of what we've got today. So, Mamma Mia, who are you picking for today?
You want my under and over performers?
However whatever you've got ready.
All right. So I'm gonna go with my overperformer as Jordan Love today. I know it's Green Bay Packer. I know he's projected to have 16.9 fantasy points. The last meeting with Minnesota, he had 36 fantasy points, and that was his first game back from his injury. So he's poised. He's been playing pretty good. Um, Packers, I know they haven't played the caliber of defense that Minnesota has, but Packers have been putting up at least 30 points in it the past 4 games. Um, so I'm going to take Jordan Love to overperform in this game. And this one is in Minnesota, so I don't think it'll be affected by the weather, right? Um, my underperformer, I'm going to stick with the same game and another Packer. I've got Josh Jacobs. The same last meeting, he only scored 11 fantasy points. He had 9 carries for 51 yards, 0 touchdowns, 4 receptions for 27 yards. The defense of Minnesota is uh, second ranked in the league versus the rush. They give up on average 83 yards. So they seem to have clamped down on any of the running backs that they've faced, and I think that they have that figured out. The other piece that kind of made me pick Jordan Love is the pass rank of the Minnesota defense. They're ranked 29th in the league. They're giving up an average of 248 yards, and Green Bay's passing offense, is 11th in the league, and they're ranking up about 230 yards a game. So this is going to be a good game. I'm really looking forward to it. So those are my under and over performers. There's a lot of games that we could have gone for, but this game has got so many implications, and Vegas has it as a pick, which they can't even figure out who's going to win. So I really like this game.
Yeah,
How about you?
I think that's the best game of the day here. Is that the Sunday night game?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So I've got three players I'm going to be picking to all overperform. First player I'm going to pick is a little bit of a sleeper, going with Calvin Ridley on the Tennessee Titans. He's had a pretty poor year. Excuse me, pretty poor year. But the main reason I'm picking him is I see some good upside versus the defenses he's going to be facing today, specifically against man coverage. Indianapolis runs man coverage, cover one, 43% of their plays. Calvin Ridley really excels against man coverage. He has over a 3.0 yards per route ran, which is very high in comparison to other players. He's well above average there, and he'll be seeing that defense again 43% of the time. So I expect him to get some good yards, some good chunk runs. I don't know if he's going to get a lot of receptions, but I will be looking for him to have a good yards per reception. The next player I'm going to take is Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving fits a lot of the criteria that I typically look for when I give these picks. It's very similar criteria I gave on the Saturday video. So Bucky Irving is averaging more than 4 yards per carry in man and zone runs. Plus, he's facing Carolina, who is the worst ranked run defense in the league. They're giving up astronomical numbers to running backs. Carolina's also giving up more than 4 yards per carry in man and zone, like we like to see. But also, Carolina's starting linebacker, Joey Jewell, is also out today. So a team that already struggles against the run is going to be even worse. And I also like Bucky for the fact that Tampa needs to win this game if they're going to continue their playoffs. So I see Tampa Bay keeping their starters in. I don't think you have to worry about that, even though it is against a lackluster team at the end of the season. And then the next player I'm picking is Tyrone Tracy. Tyrone Tracy fits a lot of the same criteria as Bucky Irving. The main reason I have Tyrone Tracy is Tyrone Tracy, when he gets zone runs, which is when the quarterback is in shotgun and handing the ball off to the running back, Tyrone Tracy's averaging over 5 yards per carry in those types of runs. And he gets about 55% of his carries are zone carries. So he really excels at those types of runs, and the Giants know that, and they give majority of his runs in that style. Top of that, the Colts defense is giving up more than 4 yards per carry to zone runs. So I see Tyrone, as long as he can get a good amount of carries, I can see him going over his line, having a good game. Versus man runs, Tyrone still has a 3.77 yards per carry. And tennis in Indianapolis's defense is horrendous against man runs. They're allowing 4.5 yards per carry against opposing running backs that are taking man carries. Colts are also allowing 113 running back rush yards per game, which is the seventh worst in the NFL. I don't anticipate that changing today. Um, so I just hope Tyrone can get the carries he needs to get us over the edge. So just a couple other tidbits I'll throw out there if anybody's watching for fantasy implications. The Eagles, Bills, and Lions are all playing this week. Um, those three games really don't matter as far as I was able to tell for any playoffs. I know there may be some underlying narratives going on. Saquon Barkley going for the rush record, but it's just something to keep in mind that these teams may not keep their starters in. I know Dan Campbell and the Lions came out and said definitively his starters are going out there. They're going to play. You know, these head coaches need to make smart decisions all the time. So Dan Campbell's a smart man. I would be shocked if he kept his starters out there the entire game, especially if it's a game that gets out of hand. The 49ers season is wrapped up. They're not playing for anything. The Lions aren't playing for anything. I think it would be a very dumb idea to keep your starters out in those games the whole time. Mamma Mia, do
Well,
you
I do think,
go
yeah,
ahead. Go ahead.
sorry, I do think Minnesota is probably the reason why he's going to keep his starters out there, because I think Minnesota is still hot on their heels, and I believe they have the same record
Mm,
right now.
okay.
So I think that's probably why you're going to be in that game. Um, my get my popcorn ready game is going to be the Green Bay Minnesota game. It's just got so many things to watch. Um, I think the points scored. Green Bay is seventh in the league at 27 and a half, and Minnesota is ninth with 26.4. That's less than a point on average. I mean, this game has everything you want to see in it. There are there are going to be some other important games today. Um, the Rams won, so they're they're kind of bouncing those Seahawks off. I guess they're gonna. I think they play again next week, so that'll be a good game to watch. Seahawks are still kind of nipping at their heels. Falcons and Bucks, those guys are going to be battling it out. And you're right, Buccaneers, they are they are out if they don't win this game. They have to. Commanders are another team that's in the hunt, and they're probably in pretty good shape to go. Um, they're probably in pretty good shape to get there. They're playing Atlanta, so I think that spells well for the Buccaneers as well. And then on the AFC side, the teams that are looking for wild cards are the Broncos, those Bengals. Who watched that game? I was completely out of my mind. I thought, I'm going to fire those coaches. You know, like that defense of the Bengals, it just drives me nuts. Although I love it because Joe Burrow has to score a lot of points, and he's my go-to quarterback. The Colts are still in it. and the Dolphins are still in it. So Broncos lost. They've got to win next week to stay in it. The Bengals need the Broncos, the Colts, and the Dolphins to all lose. um, Colts and Dolphins need Broncos, I think, to lose again. So it's just a hot mess right there. But so lots of good football this week. Um, Hope everyone enjoyed their holiday, and that is all I have, Tyke.
Okay, that's all I've got as well. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Sunday edition. Please give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Take care.